I woke up this morning, checked my Instagram, went, oh, look, there's a message from somebody out there in the big world that wants to understand when somebody throws a round kick at them, why they're getting shifted every time. And why, because of that, they don't have a counter. Because once you get knocked backwards, your counter is pretty much nullified. You need to stand your ground and then sometimes even close the distance, because punch range and kick range are very different. So today we're gonna touch on all of that. Whether you wanna recognize it or not, footwork is the foundation of everything. Even for blocking a round kick. When we do this cross block, everything comes from down here. The movement in your feet is gonna dictate whether you're able to counter, whether you get knocked off balance, all of that. That is why I've decided my fourth fundamental strike ready course after our offense, our defense, and our takedowns. The fourth one is now going to be called movement, where we focus on footwork, range, and of course, balance. So we're not getting shifted and knocked around. These courses have been a massive success. So much amazing feedback from everybody who takes them. And this one is launching August 18th. Right now we have early bird pricing, 40% off for a limited time. Jump on that before it's gone. Now for me, it does not seem to matter whether I am fighting somebody or sparring against somebody who's this big or who's way up here and massively outsizes me. Their round kicks do not shift me. I don't block and then feel like I get knocked over, even if they're 30, 40% more powerful than me in pretty much every aspect. And why is that? It's the balance and the technique of the cross block, understanding so many fundamentals of what allow us to maintain our balance and be able to absorb the impact of the kick safely. So the very first thing I'll show you is doing it wrong. If you are struggling, it's most likely because you are doing this. You're blocking, but only engaging your arms. And that right there means that when somebody hits you, you have no extra support through the legs. You have not shifted your weight. You have not dropped your weight. You're just standing here. And to be honest, this is not the strongest stance for dealing with impact on a 45-degree angle, which is very often the way the round kick comes. It might come completely sideways, but it could also come in more on this angle, which means you have to be ready to brace for impact coming here, but also for impact coming here. So the very first thing that we want to look at is, how do we actually block? Because there's also a mistake that many people make. The mistake being this hand disconnects from the head. If I'm reaching across, I want one hand tucked tight. Because now when the impact hits me, it's not my arm bouncing into me, shifting me. I am ready for a straight impact with no hit, pause, and then the hit again. That's what can really throw you off. So one arm stays very tight, the other one reaches only across. Don't bother going down because that could open your head up. We come across. We do not reach far beyond the hand that is stapled to our head. Maybe 2 or 3 inches. 70 to 80% of the impact here, the remaining hits that back arm. See the kick come? Bam! It's this right here. Now you will note, if I take away my arms, I'm doing this. That's the motion. You can see this little micro drop and the shoulder shifting. This allows me to do 2 things. It allows me, number 1, to meet the impact of the kick. And when I meet it, I help halt it a little bit. But number 2, it helps me load up for the counter. Because if I just go here, boom, the shoulder's still in front. So even if I choose to unwind into a jab, which I wouldn't do, I would always go hook, but I'm not gonna have that much power because this shoulder's already in the lead. And if I do decide to throw a hook, I'm gonna have to come really wide. So it's just gonna be more of an arm slap. So it allows me to balance, to meet the kick, and to nullify that power that might shift me out of place. And then it allows me to maximize on my power. Same thing off the other side. So right from the feet, I am shifting. Boom. You can see my back foot, heel comes slightly off the ground and shifts. If I'm going to shift the other direction, I will maintain the back foot and I'll turn the lead one. So if I'm going to my right, I use my left foot. If I'm going to my left, I use my right foot. And this allows my shoulders to more freely get that extra little twist. Kind of going from about, let's say, not completely square, but let's say more or less square for argument's sake. And I'm going to about 45. 45. The slight head drop allows me to stabilize just a little bit more, because most of us aren't down here when we fight. We're either like this with a little bit straighter leg so we can be bouncy, or we're up here. So when I meet that impact, this little micro drop, boom, as I turn my feet and my shoulders. Now, if you're getting more advanced about it and you actually want to look at jamming a kick, which will help minimize the impact, you can add little steps as you do it. So if I'm here, instead of going, okay, I'm going to meet the kick basically right on where it's most powerful, if you take a little step forward, you can end up going a little further up the leg. So I could come, boom, do the same twist. Everything's the same except to take a little step forward, or I take a little step forward. This makes the kick less powerful, while at the same time now putting me into punch range. That's a fantastic way, although one that's a little bit harder for most people, because to see a kick come and then decide to take that micro step in is a little bit difficult. But it's those little steps, that little bit of footwork that can really make the difference between going, oh, this guy kicked with, in sparring 80% power and it really stings, to me taking a little step forward and that kick feeling like it just got reduced by 30, 40%. If you add in all these motions, everything I said, and you remember that this arm coming across has to meet the kick, as opposed to me placing it out and then the kick coming. If you can remember all that, you're going to be able to stand your ground, maintain your balance, pick those kicks off, and then come back with your punch combos. And just to elaborate a little bit more on what I mean about meeting the kick, if somebody swings up and I'm going, oh, I see the kick come, and I place it here and I'm waiting for like 1, 2 before the kick hits, I'm not taking off any power with this striking arm. This arm is literally coming across and I'm hitting the kick. If I do not do that, I'm 100% going to get shifted under its impact. So you have to time it. Almost the same way that you would if you're going to parry a punch, right? The punch is coming at you. You can't put your hand out beforehand and then wait for it to hit you. You have to time it perfectly. Same thing on the round kick. The kick's coming up, it's coming up, it's coming up, boom. And this is just your backup arm. That is a massive element as well, which I probably should have touched on earlier in the episode, but anybody who's still here got that extra little tidbit. Wait for the kick, wait for it, it's about to touch my arm, and then bang, I smash it, as opposed to, and now the kick hits me. That's no good. Hope you guys are able to add this into your training and make blocking those round kicks feel so much more efficient. I'll see you guys back here soon.